At this time, I want to move on and introduce you all to one of our wonderful parents, to a current student, Christine. She is the parent, like I said, to a third year student here on campus. Some of you may recognize her from our last coffee chat. Christine has so graciously offered her time and support, and we're so grateful for that. Christine, thank you for sharing your experience.
Hi, everybody. Welcome and thank you for being here. This is an amazing, wonderful program, and my son is thriving. And I know he wouldn't be doing as well if it weren't for all the amazing people at SALT.
Christine, you've been in their shoes. You wanted to know all the things there is to offer for your son. You had hesitations, you weren't sure. What were your initial thoughts on the SALT Center?
Yes, in fact, my son was convinced that he would not be able to go to university, any university, because he is a diagnosed dyslexic and he needs that extra support. And we were fortunate enough to attend a Taste of Salt at the U of A. And it's a beautiful building, very welcoming, very comfortable place to be in. And we were able to speak with some of the kids who attended the program. And we just thought, wow, what an amazing program. We hope it could work for our son. And boy, howdy, these people really know what they're doing. More than 40 years of experience. We were afraid, honestly, not because my son isn't brilliant, because he is, but I was worried. We're in Los Angeles, California, and I was worried sending him so far away from home. You know, as a parent of a neurodiverse child, K through 12 sometimes is not a friendly place. Um, and I just was worried to entrust him by himself so far away from home. And SALT really, the specialists there, they are amazing, amazing people. They have instilled into our son such confidence. As parents, we always tell our kids, you know, you're smart, you're smart. Even if it doesn't show up on paper, we know you're smart. But it doesn't really mean a lot to them until they go to SALT. And the specialists work with them every week. They have a meeting with them. All the other events that they have functions around SALT, the puppies, the game nights, different ways to integrate the kids into life at a big college. As you can see from our slide, my son is a U of A cheerleader. He was heavily involved in different aspects of college life beyond academics. And to have that specialist one-on-one that knows him, this is his third year, and every week they meet, and she helps him with organization, with picking his schedules for her changing majors. He changed majors a few times. They take all the anxiety out of it. They really just know how to guide the kids. And for my son, who never went into a library unless he was forced to, he spends sometimes 4 or 5 hours in the library studying. He has his own work dance that his specialist has helped him find, a mix of, you know, sometimes very quiet. He needs very quiet for some study things, different for others. I never thought my son would spend 4 to 5 hours in a library ever. He's taken more units than needed. He has found a passion in school that he never, ever had. SALT has just been an amazing place for him, and we're fortunate to have found it. And I'm so happy all of you have too. It's amazing what they can pour into these kids.
And I bet, Christine, thank you for sharing that. I could feel your empathy through your words. And I can imagine how the SALT Center also helped you to kind of let go of him leaving LA, right?
Yes, it was very hard. K through 12, I tended to be the coach or the fixer for my son. I always went in and in-service teachers on how he learned and what struggles he had. And so it was very difficult to stop that, let him be a college student, be an adult, problem solve on his own. And Salt really, they have different programs for or in services for the parents. And I really took them to heart. It made a big difference in me letting him go, letting him solve things on his own. You know, he would call me up and super anxious and upset, and I would listen to him. And Salt told us as parents, listen to them, validate their feelings, and then send them to us. So hard to do. I wanted to fix it so fast. I told him I could be there in 8 hours. I could get in my car. I could be there in 8 hours. But I listened to what they told me. I let the experts deal with it. And he has, you know, one real quick thing. Just a month ago, he texted me and he said, Mom, I was in a group situation for one of my classes, my hard class that I have, and they put us in a group situation. And the smartest girl in class was in my group. And she told me how smart I was and how insightful I was. And I'm telling you, I was at the kitchen table crying because, you know, you tell your kids this, but they don't feel it until the smartest girl in class tells him that. Or the tutor from Salt, after he worked on a paper all night by himself, no help, and he gives it to her to check. He runs in there, you know, anxious, and she checks it for him and says, this is really great. I don't have to make any corrections on it. And again, I get one of those texts, Mom, she said I was smart. You know, Salt is worth every single penny for those moments, that confidence that they pour into these kids. And I wish I had had Salt for my other neurotypical child. I think we would have had an easier, better adult relationship that Salt gave me, prepared me for my son Roman, who's attending there. They really helped me to, you know, talk me through letting him go, letting him be, letting him fall, because there were people there to lift him up and support that weren't me, and it doesn't have to always be me. And he's just thriving. He got a 3.62 this last semester, and we about fell on the floor. We're just so proud of him. And, you know, because he's neurodiverse, the grade point average, I never really focused on. It's like, you know, 2.0 C's get degrees. That's what you got to, anything above that's great. But, you know, because of how you learn, 2.0 is all I'm ever going to ask of you. And he is pushing himself and striving, and it is an amazing, amazing place. I can't say enough about it. It's worth every penny. The child you drop off and the child you pick up, night and day in the best of ways. And it's a thank you to everybody who works at Salt, because you don't just affect the child who's there, the wildcat there, but the family back home. And it's really true.
Christine, you shared that so gracefully. Thank you so much. I really love to hear how Roman has grown here on campus and through the Salt Center. It really is an amazing story.